Good afternoon, crafters. We are live with this afternoon's Facebook live demonstration featuring the Taking Flight collection. For anyone that hasn't met me before, my name's Hannah Oxbury and I am the brand ambassador for Carnation Crafts. And essentially this afternoon is just a little bit of fun. It's just a demonstration, card making, crafting, having a little chat, having a little catch up as well. If you are crafting along, do post your photographs up in group of what you've made, because it'll be really lovely to see, and type up your questions. So if you've got anything you'd like to know as we go through the demonstration, please do just type up your questions, let me know, and we would do our best to get through and answer as many questions as we can. Now, oh goodness, everything's happening on the screen all at once. Okay, so Taking Flight. It launched about a month ago on Create and Craft and features just the most exquisite artwork of these beautiful, dainty flowers with little insects, little bees, little butterflies, little birds, all sorts of things to sort of encompass this flying idea. So we're going to be working with a nice blue colour palette on this one. We'll be using that DL stepper. I've seen so many questions in group on how to use the DL stepper. So hopefully this little video will cover all bases, and we'll be mixing and matching a couple of the dies. I think one of the little mice is going to feature in there as well. But essentially we're just going to have a little build, a little play, and answer as many questions as we can as we go along. Now let me just have a scroll back, make sure I haven't missed any questions yet. We've got people watching so far, which is lovely. Leslie's here. Hi Leslie. Sue's here as well, which is wonderful. So if you do have any questions as we go along, do feel free, just type up your answer, and anything that I don't spot whilst I'm trying to demo and talk and think and do the camera work as well, I will try and answer afterwards as well. Amanda's here too. Hi Amanda, thanks for tuning in. Right, I think without further ado, should we get into some demonstrations? What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around, so you're just going to see sort of face down shot of my desk, and we're going to start working through on how to build a lovely DL stepper design. Let me just swing that camera around. Oh, that worked. Let me just tilt that down ever so slightly so you can see my work desk all set up, all ready to go. And we will try and keep in as much in detail as we can. Okay, so DL stepper, as I say, we have been asked so many times on Facebook, online, through the customer service email, how do we use this die? And actually it is deceptively simple to use. Essentially what it's going to create is this lovely label design in a stepper card shape. So no measuring, no worrying, no fussing, super easy to put together. So we're going to take our die out of its packaging like so, and you'll see all of the dies are held in place with a little bit of sticky, and of course just underneath them is the little indicator of where they go back into your packaging. So your packaging does work as its storage solution as well. Oh, Carol! I promised on my last video I would remember my ruler, and I've totally forgotten it again. I'm so sorry. Carol has just asked, what size is the finished card, please? And do you know what? That is an absolutely more than fair question, but me being me, I've forgotten my ruler again. I don't know how I get through in life. So I will do an approximation measurement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... about 7.5 inches at its widest point, and once all folded together it is roughly the same, so about 7.5 inches tall as well. Obviously, you know, depending on how you're making this card, depending on what you're putting on the front of it as well, you might want to consider doing things like making a little gift box for this card, for example. But yes, that's the widest point, as I'm measuring off my stamping platform rather than a ruler, so it's not the most accurate thing in the world. So 7.5 to 8 inches approximately. The measurements will be online. If you click on to carnationcrafts.co.uk, you find the product. This one is called DL Stepper. The measurements will be in all their glorious detail online for every single element of the die. So that should give you a little bit more of an indicator, a little bit more of a helping hand for anyone wondering. Okay, so first off, we just need to remove our die from the packaging, and you see all I'm doing is just bending the card away from the die and lifting that die free. Okay, so I'm not tugging at it, I'm not pulling at it, I'm simply just bending the card away and lifting the die free. Obviously, when you're at home doing this, take your time, obviously be nice and gentle with it. I'm obviously trying to do this around a camera, so I'm probably making it look more difficult than what it actually is. But essentially what we're going to start with is this outermost die. So you can probably start to guess where we're going with this one. You've got your base of your stepper here. You've then got your side bits of your stepper here and the tabs at the top. Now the great thing about our stepper die is it's already got the score lines in place as well. Now these little score lines will allow you to fold your card up nice and easily. All we're going to do is cut 2 of these. Okay, so 2 in their entirety, full versions of this card, this die, out of white card, 350 GSM. I'm using Perfect Smooth. When it's cut in its entirety, it will look like this. Okay, so what you've got is the stepper base. You've got the score lines in place and you've got these tabs at the top. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit big to get in the full shot, but hopefully that makes sense when you're looking at it like so. Okay, what you can do is give those score lines that are already in place an extra little score should you wish, both on the folds and on the tabs. And all you do for the front, mountain fold, so fold those 2 sides in and valley fold. Okay, you can already see how that stepper is coming together. These tabs are what we're going to use to attach the front of our card to the back. Again, all we've done, we've cut it twice, once for the front of the card, once for the back of the card, folded in the tabs towards the center, folded in this time the steppers rather than folding them back, and that's going to create our card shape. So it comes together really, really easily. Now, to join, all you need to do is tab to tab. Okay, it's these tabs that create essentially the fold between the front and the back of the card. Now, if you want extra support, you can stick one of the tabs down inside. I don't tend to, I just let them be free. And I'm using a red liner tape. The reason being is red liner tape is a nice strong tape, and it means it's going to be nice and secure if we do want to post or we do want to gift this card. So as straight as we can, tab to tab, just like so. Okay, it is as simple as that. So tab to tab again for the top, removing the red liner tape, using my poke tool, just get the carrier of the tape off, and then tab to tab for each element, and just pressing that down nice and securely in place. Final little tab here, again removing the carrier from the red liner tape like so, and again tab to tab. Super quick, super simple, no measuring. It cuts out in its entirety. Once we put it all together and fold the stepper down on itself, it then stands up like so. Now, once we've got all of the detailing on the front as well, it's going to give you a really lovely shape. It's going to give you a really lovely design to the card. But obviously, if you want to really pop loads of stuff in, what you can do, if your card is slipping at all, or perhaps you're using maybe a too light a weight of card, you can put little stays on the inside. What we mean by stays would be just a strip of card stuck to the back and then stuck to the front, just to keep it nice and secure whilst it is standing up. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And it gives you guys something to refer back to when and as you are building the stepper card. Remember, all you got to do, cut the front, cut the back, tabs in, tab to tab. It is as easy as that to build that card in its entirety. Now I'm just going to have to scroll back, see if we've got any questions coming in. Lots of people joining us. Let's have a look. Lots of hellos, which is nice. No questions as yet, I don't think, which is good. Oh, Elaine, yeah, I know. I must apologise about my hands. My hands got in an argument with the kitten. For anyone that doesn't know, I have a new baby cat called Morph, who is very excitable and does like to play quite roughly most of the time. Okay, no other questions coming in. Right, let's continue. So to build our design, what we're going to do is then take the mats and layers. Now, mats and layers are our framing devices, and once again, these are all sized to match the DL design. And you'll see if we just lift that up, you've got a whole range of different size mats and layers in descending sizes, from your larger to your smaller into your filigree design for every part of your card. So you've got the central bit. You've then got nested dies up here, which will form your mats and layers for your sides of your steppers, both this side and this side, and then these little bottom ones here to form your mats and layers and your filigree for the base of your card as well. All we're going to do is choose our colour scheme, work from the largest die into the next one, just to build our mats and layers. Now, I've chosen to cut mine from a combination of the green and the blue from the Perfect papers, from the Taking Flight Perfect papers. So we've gone green in those nested dies, blue, and then into, this is Perfect Blush in blue. So it's a white cardstock with a hint of a blue colouring to keep in basically with that theme, that idea of the blue design we've got going on. We then added a little bit of finger lift tape to the back. So whatever we're doing, because we're building sort of this symmetry to the card design, we've cut those twice. So cut 2 of the largest dies, 2 of the next layer down, and 2 of the next layer down. And then again, it is just a case of building these designs. So I'm just folding back the excess of the carrier for the finger lift tape on this occasion, because we're going onto the side here of this stepper. We want the we essentially want the cardstock to be nice and flat against one another rather than adding any foam in or pin flare. We're just going to go flat on the layers and then removing the tabs to stick in place. We're going to do that for both sides. Now, you can choose obviously to have your filigree centre to these panel bits as well, should you wish. Same with the side pieces here, same with the middle. You can choose to either have the filigree or choose to not have the filigree. It is up to you, depending on the look, depending on the style of the card you're going for. You've got options, but because all those dies are included, you can really tailor the design to how you want it to be. So I'm just lining those up as best I can around the camera and then peeling away. Okay, so you see how these are starting to form. It adds a really nice weight to the front of your card as well, those mats and layers, just drawing the eye to the centre of those panels. Same with the centre panel here. So again, finger lift tape on the back. I'm going to take 2 edges and just fold them across. So we create a little tab, a little pull tab over the edge of the mats and layers like so, okay? We're then offering it up to our card, trying to get that nice and straight with an even gap all the way around. Now, the reason why I fold my tape over the side, it means I can position the die cut in place like so, and then have hands free to pull away the tab and then smooth down into place. It just gives me a little bit more confidence when I'm placing my mats and layers. It means that it's going to be as straight as possible. Obviously, I'm doing it at an angle around a camera, so you'll have to forgive me if it does go off a little bit wonky. But obviously, when I'm doing this just sort of demos and things like that, it is just the easiest way to do it. So again, folding over the tab, both sides, like so. And then layering. And this is what's lovely about mats and layers. They really give a sense of importance. They really highlight areas of the card that you want to draw attention to as well. These framing devices just draw the eye in. It's a really lovely way of doing that. Okay, final layer. So again, same as what we've done with the side panels here. We've gone green, blue, then into the Perfect Blush in the blue. But this time around, we've cut it with the filigree. We've also kept the panel to the inside rather than adding that second layer of filigree. If I just show you the die again, because you can choose to cut the filigree to the center as well. This die to the middle doesn't have a cutting edge, so it can cut into the card too. But I just fancy just having a little plainer centre to this one. I thought the filigree just on the outside was enough. It's a lovely filigree, this. Really pretty, lacy Lovely design. Just adds a little bit of texture, just adds a little point of difference. Now you'll notice again, finger lift tape to the centre, but I'm not worrying about all these little bits here. They're fine. They can just be nice and free on the card itself. If you did want to, you have got ample areas around the card if you wanted to add in a little bit of more tape or a little bit of glue, for example. And filigree layer, just as before, goes on to the card, lining up like so. I think that's nice and straight. And then just take away the excess of the carrier sheet for the finger lift tape as well. So you see how this is building? This is coming together so beautifully. This could be for a birthday, this could be invites, this could be anything you want, anniversary. It really does lend itself as a beautiful, beautiful base for your card making. Same with those side bits. Every single element of this card base has mats and layers to match. So it just gives you this very sort of sense of importance to this card. And you'll notice each one of these mats and layers, each one of these filigree designs that we're doing, we are sticking each layer down flat. A lot of my demonstrations I like to use foam as well to give you a little bit of height, but I think there's so much going on this card that actually it's quite nice just to have the simplicity of the flat layers on a card like this. So again, just lining up, holding in place as we take away the tape, just like so. And then removing all the little excess bits too, like so. Now obviously you could go around and add little bits of glue in just to have these little bits stuck down, but really once we start layering up all the details over the top, you're not going to see any of these bits or anything. So we're ready at this stage to begin building our design. So this could be any one of the die cuts that we could be using. For mine, again, I'm sticking with that tonal theme. I'm sticking with the blues and the greens from the Taking Flight collection. So I've chosen as sort of my main element, if you like, the Faint Flutter die set. So you've got this lovely sort of flower through the middle, and the butterflies have just hovered down, have just nestled into the flower as well. You'll notice in this particular die set, as with many of them, they come with mats and layers and split mats and layers. So you've got your first one, which is a complete mat and layer, so a traditional mat and layer that you would be used to seeing in a whole panel design. You've then got two split mat and layers, okay? Now this gives you so much more craftability. I do often see emails coming going, oh, you know, my die is broken in half, should it be like this? Yes, absolutely. If it's in two halves, it's completely meant to be, and you can tell that by the detailing on the packaging. You see how the pink line of the die stops before it goes to the next bit? That's because these are split mat and layers. What that means is you can do over the edge cards, you can do aperture cards, you can do gatefold cards. These ones have even an extra split mat layer die that has a little edge to it, so you can do sort of over the edge cards as well and line that up so it's all straight. If you do want to see that, there is a video in group where we've demonstrated split mat layers as well. So that would be available if you go to the top of the page, click on, I think it's files, then media, then videos. Depends on what your setup is and what you're viewing the group on. But all of the videos are labelled with what's in them, so you should be able to find that quite easily. Beverly has just asked what size envelope is needed for this stepper card. So Beverly, we said at the top of the show, if you missed it, the stepper itself is about approximately 7.5 to 8 inches. So you're looking about an 8-inch envelope. Because you're layering up and you're adding decoupage and things like that, you might even want to consider creating an oversized envelope, or crafting it yourself, or indeed crafting like a little gift box to make it even more special. So you've got options there with that. Now, put it down somewhere. Where did I put it? Vignettes. So if you're new to Carnation, what we do are something called vignettes. Okay, what's special about ours, we're the very first company to introduce this, is we produce mirrored vignettes, which essentially looks like this when you print it off. So you've got the one side in all its colour, all its glory, all its detailing. These are what you print off from carnationcrafts.co.uk. We recommend printing on pro printing paper, and if you're using mirrored vignettes, we recommend the 120 GSM weight For your pro printing paper, there is a shiny side and like a slightly rougher side. You want to ensure you're printing on the shiny side, and you want to be printing on matte photo paper settings if you've got them, and a high quality print settings. And that gives you just this absolutely delightful depth and detail and colour to your design. So again, those vignettes, that artwork is available to download for free from all the original colourways from carnationcrafts.co.uk. Within the file you get standard vignettes, so you just get the one side. You also then get the mirrored vignette. To use them, all you need to do, there's several ways of doing it, but for me this is my preferred method. Snip into that black line, top and bottom, like so. That begins your fold. It makes sure you are folding exactly on that black line. We then pinch either side of the black line, like so, to begin folding along. Now, yes, you can absolutely use scoreboards and things like that. It does depend on the thickness of the ball tool you're using, because you do want to get as much as possible folded exactly onto that black line. You see, I'm just using my thumbnail there just to score that down. At this stage, what you can do, if you wish to, you can spritz the inside, just give it a little bit of spray, maybe with some spray adhesive or with tape or glue, whatever your preferred method is. Then you can lay your dies over the top. Let me just grab one of them. To then cut. So you can cut all of your decoupage and all of your die at the same time. So you just got to find which way, which orientation round it goes. Lay your die over the top. You do have a little bit of a bleed line all the way around. That ensures edge to edge colour, and also gives you a little bit of a helping hand on how to line this up. Hold the die in place with repositionable tape, low tack tape, and run it through your die cutting machine. Okay, it will then cut not only your decoupage layer but also your die base layer as well at the same time. Once you've cut and glued your decoupage layers, you then get this lovely sense of detailing. But because you are using those mirrored vignettes, the back is also as beautifully detailed as what the front is, and that's just wonderful. It gives you so much craftability with our die sets. So I think let's start snipping in, because you don't have to ever use our dies just in the sort of one way, the one way that they cut. They are also made so you can go into them and snip away as well. So I'm just snipping away to release just one side, one bud, if you like, of the flower. Just using my scissors and following the cut line details that are already laid down. Now, I've probably got a little bit exuberant and cut off areas I didn't necessarily want to cut off there, but that's okay. We can always add a little bit of artistic license to this. Wherever I've cut, I will then go in, just take the excess off, and just round any of the harsh lines caused by my scissors. If I've got a bit carried away, for example, just rounding those off to give it a really more natural feel. Anything I've snipped away, I can pop to one side to use in another project for another day. Same with these little butterflies. I don't necessarily just want them there at the minute. I might want to change where they sit. That's the beauty of card making. Once you download, once you print out, once you cut your die cuts, it is then up to you how you use them. You can really make them sing, make them change about to whatever design you would like. Same with the dandelions there as well. I think they're going to be adding a little bit of height to the background too. But before we stick anything down, we do want to give them a little bit of shaping. So I like to use a pokey tool. People do prefer ball tools as well. It's personal preference. You can then just start shaping and moulding the paper to really give it a lovely lifelike feel. So we're going in with those leaves and just curling them, just running them along the pokey tool back and forwards, just to give you that sense of height. And because you have the mirrored vignette on the back, it means whenever you come to view this card, no matter what angle, no matter what direction, it's gonna give you that same beautiful colour on the back as well. Dandelion, that's a mouthful, dandelion heads with the pokey tool, just balling those to lift those, to give them a more domed appearance. And look how that transforms. That really does bring that die cut to life. It adds so much more texture to it as well. That's going to sit there. Same again with our florals. Just going to give those a little bit of rounding just in areas, just to really give you this sense of a natural look to the design. And same with those leaves. Let's have those curled over even more around the edge of the pokey tool. This is fun. This is just a bit of playtime. This is something you can enjoy, just experimenting with how you want your little designs to look. I might snip off that little section actually. Do I want to snip it off? See, this is wonderful. This is card making. Why card having the dies to create your own? Because you can make decisions at every stage. If I then decide actually I wanted it there, I can just print off another one and I can just cut another one. That is just so wonderful. Yeah, I think layering that leaf over the top as well is going to create that nice sort of long line look to the design. So you see nothing's wasted. We can go in, snip those little buds away, have those leaves overlapping and just add in all that dimension, all that look to the design as well. So you're changing the shape of that flower. I'm quite happy with how that's sitting for now. So let's glue in place. Are there any questions so far whilst I'm sort of getting lost in the making? Has anyone any questions as we go along? I am keeping an eye on the comments and I can't see necessarily any coming in at the moment. So pin flare glue gel. The reason why I love to use a glue gel is because it gives you not only this wonderful sense of height, it gives you much more of a texture to that height as well, as opposed to foam pads that will give you one height. You can kind of put more glue in one place, less glue in another, and it will just give you that sort of descending into the little details like so. It also dries clear, so if you're anything like me and a bit messy when it comes to crafting, it gives you that little bit of confidence that if you do squidge anywhere, it's going to dry clear, it's not going to notice as much. And also, it gives you wiggle room as well. So I have stuck it down, but I can still adjust it should I need to at any point. So here, with this floral, we're going to just tuck that over the dandelions as well. So again, pin flare to the back. You don't need much. It's just to lift it from the base of the card. And, oh, dandelions. You didn't want to stick in place. Stick down, please. And then, there we go. Just having that floral over the top. Just adjusting those. Remember, it's that wiggle room that is just brilliant. Just adjusting those so it all sits perfectly. That other little leaf, I'm just going to use to ground that end of the floral there and give it a little bit more of a sweep around this side. So everything kind of works together. I think that's just fab. All these different ways of cutting, all these different ways of layering just gives you a little bit more of a boost when it comes to crafting. Okay, so far, let me get rid of the little bits on top of the card. You see, we're creating this little base, we're creating this little story down to one corner. It's nice actually to weight your cards like this, so you've got that detailing down to one side, because then the rest of the card is this wonderful area of detailing left, so you can start adding in or taking away or whichever you like. Butterflies next. Now these are the ones that I snipped off of the floral. So again, going in with our scissors, just following those cut line details and just making sure we just gently round that detailing off. And because we have those mirrored vignettes, absolutely brilliant, we can really go to town. We're just splaying out those butterfly wings and also curling them over, because remember, mirrored vignettes mean you've got that artwork on the back. There's going to be no white bits. It's not going to detract from the look of your card at all. So just poke it all in and just shaping those wings, really giving them a sense of depth and texture as well. Now we're going to have butterfly to the top corner, I think, but I'm not going to stick him down just yet, because I do want to bring in our little mouse, because I think he's just the cutest, and I think it adds in even more story quality. When he's sort of nestled down, when he's stood just off the side of the card, flying his kite over the flowers, it gives you this sense of proportion, okay? It gives you this idea that the mouse is little, you know, in comparison to the flowers themselves. So again, our little mouse, we're going to round him off. Now we're using, again, those mirrored vignettes. So we're just going to round our little mouse, give him a nice fat belly, because I think that's just the cutest on mice. I mean, mice are cute, aren't they? I really do love mice. I really do. Shh, don't tell anyone. Little sneak peeks going on there. And also let's have a play with the kite string and bow. So we're just making that look like it is actually fluttering in the wind as well. Little bit of pin flare. Again to the back of our mouse. And I'm not going to put any pin flare on the kite just yet. I want to position mouse first before I then come in and add pin flare to stick the kite in place. It just gives me a little bit more of a helping hand. If I'd left pin flare on the back of that whilst positioning my mouse, I'd have pin flare all over my card at the minute. So what we're doing is grounding the mouse, okay? So we're giving him somewhere where he is stood. It gives him a sense of reality. It gives him a sense of detailing. So the little mouse, we positioned his feet and his tail to sit exactly on that matten layer of the side bit to the stepper card here. And it makes whoever's reading the card, whoever's viewing the card, makes sense of what's happening. It just aids the story a little bit as well. So now that we've got our mouse in place, we let the string for the kite just fall where it sits naturally from the die cut, like so. And then we just pin flare on the back of the kite again to raise that up. I'm not worrying about sticking down the tail of the kite or the bow of the kite or anything like that. We've curled that up. That's going to add a little bit of movement on the front of the card, which is fabulous. Now, the reason we didn't stick the butterfly is because we just want to make sure that that's going to be just perfectly in line, almost like the butterfly and the mouse are having a little conversation. So I think there is going to be the right position for the little butterfly. And again, I think pin flare for him as well. Just along his body, I want his wings to be nice and free from the card itself. And we'll just place that gently, like so. So yeah, it looks like an actual conversation's going on between the little mouse and the butterfly. I wonder what they're talking about. Do you think it's, a proper weather's lovely today, butterfly kind of conversation that they're having? Perfect for flying a kite conversation, maybe. Who knows? I think that's what's adorable about Carnation, is you can really make your own stories with them. To finish this card, if you wanted to, you could also add the sentiment. So this one, with love, is the sentiment included with the DL label stepper. So again, we've used those colours from the rest of the theme. So you've got the blue of the perfect papers in the background, and then the perfect blush in the blue as well for the lettering. It just makes those letters pop. And those are going to sit either side of the main panel, just to break up that white space of the steppers with, and love, trying to get them as nice and even as possible, just raised up on a little bit of foam too. Quite happy if they overlap the edge of the design like so. Let's think, do I want another? Yeah, let's have more butterflies. You can never have enough butterflies. I think it would be nice just to include a butterfly on the side steppers as well, to tie in the side steppers so they don't look quite as plain as because it's got quite a lot going on in the middle of the card. It would be nice to tell that story, so you repeat the design of the butterfly here with a little butterfly nestled on the word with. It also then draws the eye to the word with to read through the sentiment as well. Same thing again. We're just going to tweak up those butterfly wings just to give that a little bit of height and dimension, like so. Just curve that other one over, and a tiny little pin flare on the back, like so, just so we can have that butterfly fluttering down and resting on that sentiment. I think that's really pretty. I might just squidge that over a little bit, like so. Yeah, that comes together nicely. Louise is enjoying the demonstration as well. Thank you, Louise. I think that's good. I think that might work well. Maybe a bud, maybe not, maybe detailing. This is the nice thing. You can go in and add more if you wish, or take things away as well. But I think actually I'm quite happy with how that card's looking, and I'm sure anyone who would be receiving it will really enjoy that look as well. So let me just lift it up like so, and if I just scroll that back, you can see the light's not great today, so I do apologise, but if I just bring my light over a little bit, that's the stepper card. I've not put a stay in that. The weight of the front of the card is just enough to hold that nice and securely, but I think the storytelling on it comes together beautifully. I do think the colours are just very pretty, very fresh colours as well. Let me turn that camera around and move back because I'm quite close to it. Hopefully you have enjoyed that demonstration. So that's what we've made, the card. Sometimes it's easier to see from the front as well. The light is just a little bit better over here. So again, just to reiterate what we've done, we've started with that base, the DL stepper, cut it twice, folded in those tabs and stuck the tabs together, then mountain fold and valley fold the sides in to create that stepped effect. Remember, if you are using a lighter weight card, so this one's been made using 350 GSM Perfect Smooth. If you are using a lighter cardstock, do put a little stay, do put a little strut in the middle to keep that card nice and secure. All we've done then is layered up the mats and layers, so these greens and blues, and then Perfect Blush in the blue for the filigree or the plain, depending on what we're using it for, and then layered up our story to the front, finishing with the sentiment with love as well. Just love that. I really love this collection. I think it's so pretty. The detailing on it as well is just exquisite. A couple of people might have spotted some sneaky peeks throughout that demonstration as well. I can't possibly say any more at this stage, apart from stay tuned to our social channels. So yeah, you might have seen a coming soon post has gone up on our Facebook page, brand page. And some people did guess right what might be coming soon, but I will leave it up to your imaginations. For those of you who might not have spotted it, have a little rewind back through the demonstrations and you might just spot a couple of things that are coming soon. So until that point, we will put on more details, of course, over the coming days. But until that announcement, do stay tuned, have lots and lots of fun crafting, and don't forget to then post up if you have crafted along, or if you're going to make something after this Facebook Live using the demonstration. Please do share your designs in group, because it would be lovely to see. A couple of people joining a bit late, that's no problem at all. We make all the videos available for you to watch back at any time as well. All you need to do to find them is click on the media at the top of the group page, click on videos, and then there's a whole host of videos covering different dies, different techniques, different topics, and each one of the videos is titled to make it a little bit easier to find out what I'll be doing for the demonstration as well. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us this afternoon. I won't be back. It's Friday today, normally I do Thursdays, but I won't be back next week to do a Facebook Live, but I'm hoping to be back the following week as well. We're just working it around show times too. Thank you everyone for your company, and we shall see you soon. Bye.